Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. I was commenting in another video about how crypto is not the most popular topic in terms of the videos I make, but then I had some comments from people who said they would like to learn, they were interested, but they didn't really know how. And so today I'm going to discuss with you how to learn about and get started in crypto, which I think is super important. I did an interview a little while ago, and one of the comments I made was, if you care about freedom, you should care about crypto. And I think this is quite true. So today we're going to cover a variety of different methods and tools and resources. I'm going to give a shameless plug out, and so I hope you enjoy that. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. And if you would like to see more videos like this, also let me know. I would appreciate the feedback. Now, before we get started, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the all notifications bell, little bell icon there gives you updates. And if you'd like help in any of the subjects we deal with here, you can either book a call, calendly.com/Michael-Rosmer, link in the description below, or send a message through our websites, offshorecitizen.net and offshorecapitalist.com. All right, so it is a fitting time to do this because this is Binance Week here in Dubai. And so I'm partially attending that and ETH Dubai and some other events. We're hosting an event tomorrow evening. And so, yeah, it's great. Now, the reality is that getting started in crypto is super complicated. If you don't know where to start, how do you start? And so the first resource that I'm going to give you is kind of a shameless plug because it is created by the team of one of the projects I co-founded, so DeFi Yield, which you can see here. And this is a book we wrote, which is really quite an excellent resource. It was designed for, starting from people who don't know anything about crypto to give them an introduction, as well as people who are a little bit more advanced. And so it's a book called The Wall Street Era is Over. You can find it on Amazon, either on Kindle or in a physical copy. Obviously, I have the physical copy here. And it's like tons and tons of terminology, examples of kind of analogs comparing traditional finance to decentralized finance, and we'll just give you a lot of places where you can answer questions and get terminology and understand what all you are dealing with. So that would be one resource I'm going to recommend to you. The next resource I would recommend is, so go to coingecko.com, okay? And in coingecko.com, first of all, it lists a whole bunch of tokens and things like this, but they created a book called How to DeFi. And so it's a digital PDF, and that would be another resource that you could check out. A third resource you could check out if you're interested in looking into various different things is on YouTube. There's a channel called Whiteboard Crypto. And so they've got lots of short little whiteboard videos explaining various things in crypto. It's a decent starting point. Now, if you're going to kind of go through just getting started, I'm going to walk you through just a few of the basic things that might be entry points for you. So hypothetically, the first thing you're going to need to do is buy some sort of crypto. And buying some crypto is probably going to happen either through a centralized exchange or through some sort of a processor that would accept payment by credit card, or maybe there's somebody who you know or can meet who you can basically buy it from them. So let's start with the third one. The third one, the most basic resource, is called localbitcoins.com. So you can go to localbitcoins.com. There's lots of others, peer-to-peer transactions where basically somebody local is willing to, you can give them cash, you can do a bank transfer to them in your particular country, and you can get some crypto from them. We'll talk in a second about what you need in order to do that. The second is you could download Metamask, which is a browser extension on something like Chrome. You can also get a mobile app for it, and in it is the ability to buy some crypto. You can do this through services called Wire and Transact. They essentially are payment processors that will allow you to use your credit card to buy. Now be aware, a bunch of countries, the credit card companies don't allow you to do this. For example, in Canada, various of the credit cards will not allow you to do it. However, if it's an option for you, that would be one way to go, where you can buy small amounts. It's not really so good for larger amounts because your costs are going to be too high. The third option is going to be signing up on some sort of a centralized exchange. So this would be Binance, Huobi, Coinbase, FTX. There's many, many of them, but these are some of the main ones. And you can just Google, best crypto exchange, your country name, and you're going to get a list of people's perspectives on what they like. Usually it's helpful to have one that's fairly local because the payment methods will be easier. So again, I'll use Canada as an example. You may have a company like CoinSquare and be able to send an Interac e-money transfer in order to be able to buy it. Otherwise, in some cases you're wiring or whatever, which is doable, but a little bit more complicated for you. So the first thing you'd want to do is buy. Now, if you're buying through Metamask, Metamask is a wallet, okay? So when you set up, what happens essentially is that you're basically having your custody of your own bank account in a sense. You can just think of a wallet as a bank account. And the software is sort of like the mobile app. If you just think about your banking mobile app, Metamask would be kind of like that, which connects to your wallet. Your wallet is technically in the cloud, right? You have a secret key, and I've explained this in some previous videos. So in that case, you've already got it all self-contained. The important thing to know, and you can kind of watch some YouTube videos on this, is that you have to have what's called gas fees. What are gas fees? Essentially, to do transactions, the fees that are paid in the native token of a given chain that you're doing it on. So the default chain for MetaMask would be Ethereum. You can configure it to use many, many other EVM compatible, what we call EVM compatible chains, which are chains that simply use the same, it's called a virtual machine, but basically the same framework, the same language as Ethereum does. So the best known chain would be, of course, Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin's the main one, but you can't really do anything on Bitcoin except for having Bitcoin, sending and receiving Bitcoin, okay? That's basically what you can do there. On Ethereum, you can have all these fancy smart contracts and composability and swaps and deposits and lending and all this other kind of thing that you'll learn about in books like The Wall Street Era is Over. So that's any of these others like Avalanche, Solana, Binance Smart Chain, or what they call BNB Chain now, Huobi Eco Chain. I just talked to the people from Huobi earlier tonight. There's a big announcement they're doing. Anyway, there's like dozens of different chains, right? So any of those dozens of chains will support doing various different types of transactions. Some of them are cheaper. If you were to look at it, the ones I would say make the most sense to start with are probably, so first of all, Ethereum, BNB Chain, Polygon, Avalanche. These are all EVM compatible chains, as I said. And so any of them except for Ethereum are relatively low cost and high speed. There's pros and cons to them. Of those, my personal preference would be Avalanche, but there's less stuff built on it, so that's something to be aware of. And yeah, so the bottom line is you need to just remember you have to have, every transaction will cost you fees. The fees are paid in the native token, and so it's a different, so Ethereum, ETH is the native token on the Ethereum network. BNB is on BNB chain. Matic is on Polygon. AVAX or Avalanche is on Avalanche, and so on and so forth. So that's just the thing to be aware of. If you are going to go to something like local Bitcoins, then you need to get the tokens, or you need to get the wallet set up in advance. And so how would you do this? You could just Google, best Bitcoin wallet, best cryptocurrency wallet, and you could have what's called a hardware wallet, which would be Trezor or LedgerX. These would be kind of the most common examples. There's a bunch of others, but those would be some examples. Or you can have a software wallet. You can go to some place like blockchain.com, or there's just dozens of different places that allow you to set up a wallet. Or you could even use MetaMask if you're going to use an EVM compatible chain. And so you'll have to give your address to whoever you're paying for it. So let's just use an example. Say I go on local Bitcoins and I will decide, all right, I'm going to go and buy $3,000 of, let's just say it was Ethereum, right? What I would do is I would give them the money and I would give them my address, and I would get them to send the Ethereum to my address. And in a few minutes, it's going to show up there. I'm probably going to sit and watch and wait to see the transaction has gone through. And then I'm going to look at it and say, okay, great, everything's good. And then we can go our separate ways. So that kind of thing would be an option for you. The other thing that you can eventually do is move from, so when you set up a centralized exchange, they'll have an account for you. Technically, that's a custodial account, meaning you don't actually control it, the exchange controls it, and you can transfer accordingly. But yeah, this is like the most basic starting point is get a wallet, buy some crypto, then you can do everything else. And all the other things that you can do, I mean, there's just so many of them. And that's where How to DeFi, or the Wall Street era is over, or things like Whiteboard Crypto. Once you start going down that line, then you can start to watch some other videos on YouTube and start to learn. But this should be like a really, really basic foundation point for you that can help you to get started if you aren't familiar with it. And if you have questions, put them in the comments below. Happy to help you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.